Sign up for free Stratfor Intelligence. Simply enter your email address to receive 2 free reports each week.
U.S. President Barack Obama is widely expected to make a statement calling for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to step down. The apparent shift in the U.S. position suggests that the United States has identified alternatives to the al-Assads worth backing, thereby raising the potential for a military coup. However, the number of unknowns in this crisis is deeply unsettling for Syria's neighbors. Obama calling for al-Assad to go does not necessarily mean that the United States is about to engage in another military operation in the region and pull another Libya. That's simply not likely at this moment. Instead, the United States is looking to regional heavyweights like Turkey to manage the situation in Syria. However, managing the situation in Syria is not as easy as simply throwing support behind the opposition and bracing for the fall of the regime. It's much more complicated than that. There are still key elements sustaining the al-Assad regime as the Alawite minority in Syria realizes what is at stake should they begin to fracture and create a vacuum in Damascus for the Sunni majority to fill. There are some indications that Alawite unity is under great stress and that the armed forces that are primarily commanded by Alawite officers are under extreme stress as this military campaign wears on. There have also been some serious signs of dissent among the senior military command, and these are certainly all factors that need to be monitored closely in assessing the durability of this regime. At the same time, this is not going to be a quick and easy fall. This is going to be a bloody and arduous fight for the al-Assad regime, and it's not one that Turkey is quite prepared for, even if in the long term it's in Turkey's interest to place Syria in the hands of the Sunni majority and eventually under Ankara's influence. Another country not quite prepared for this transition is Israel. The Israeli political leadership is under a great deal of pressure right now. Internally, large demonstrations have taken place in Israel over everything from high taxes, lack of access to public services, and high levels of government corruption. Externally, Israel is bracing itself for a UN vote on Palestinian recognition that has the potential to unleash intifada-like violence on its borders. At the same time, Israel is watching very nervously as the military regime in Egypt tries to manage its political transition. And now, most importantly and most urgently, Israel is watching the Syrian regime struggle in trying to sustain itself. The Syrian regime may be hostile to Israel, but at least it was predictable. All these pressures combined are leading the Israeli populace at large to question the legitimacy of the Israeli political leadership. In Syria, you can see very easily why a mostly Sunni conscript force does not really feel the need to risk their lives for the regime. There's a lack of unity and nationalism there that stems from the fractured demographics of the country, the nature of the regime itself, among other things. In a state as tiny and as vulnerable as Israel, however, where military conscription is universal and where you have a traditionally strong military culture, the stakes are much, much higher if a serious chasm develops between the state and its people.